Guy you know from one of the most successful, if not the most successful series on cable of all time. Michael Imperioli, if you need reminding, played Christopher Moltisanti on The Sopranos. And he also wrote many of the show's episodes. That you knew, Spike. I did
Oh
not
yeah,
know that.
guy's brilliant, man. Just brilliant.
And that was some of the smartest writing of all time in a drama. Michael also knows his way around the kitchen. He recently won the Tournament of Stars competition on the hit cooking show Chopped.
Hot.
You can see him along with David Duchovny for one final time on Californication when the season finale premieres this Sunday evening at 9:30 p.m. And if you're not caught up, binge watch it like I do. Michael Imperioli, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. Hey, Michael.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure. It's impossible, and I wonder how often you run into this, where when you meet someone for an interview or for any media reason, you look at them and you can tell they still remember your final scene in The Sopranos, and it was gut-wrenching, and it had affected them deeply emotionally, and they have to ask you about that first. Has that ever happened?
I think that's happened.
Yeah.
It's going to be my first question. I feel bad.
The Sopranos struck a big chord with a lot of people, and the scene is very, very disturbing.
And I hope it's not a spoiler after this many years, but you know that The Sopranos led off what we're all doing now, which is we're watching series when we want to watch them, and we're watching them, of course. We want people to tune in on time for this at 9:30 p.m. on Showtime. A lot of people have to watch it on time. But once you do a piece of work now, it's almost like it goes in the library, especially if it's accomplished, and people can continue to discover it forever. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's a whole new landscape, television. It really is. And like my kids, I've teenagers, and they never watch stuff like Sunday at 9:00 or how we used to do it. It's just like whenever he sits down and watches 5 Game of Thrones on his iPad. It's a totally different way of watching, and that's the future.
How old are your kids, may I ask?
12, 17, and 24.
So some of them, of course, you cannot watch The Sopranos. Do they reach a certain age and you give them a box set?
No.
No.
Oh, man.
It's somewhere in the house somewhere.
It's somewhere in the house. They have to seek it. It's like Santa Claus. We're never really going to discuss it, but they have to seek it out. Talk to me a little bit about Californication. Were you a fan of the show?
Yeah, a fan of the show and a fan of David Duchovny. I really like his acting, and I loved him on X-Files. And they kind of came up with this character, which I thought was really fun. So the last season, I was in most of the episodes of the season, and it was a blast.
You mentioned
Pretty unhinged TV producer, bitter and jaded, but very rich and successful. It was fun.
You mentioned watching on box sets and stuff, Michael. The Sopranos is coming out, and I'm sure Californication will too after its run is over, on DVD, on Blu-ray, the whole thing.
The whole thing in one box.
In time for Christmas this year. As a star of the show, I'm sure you get something, but as a writer, you might even get a little more. Did the royalties break down better when you're one of the creative forces of The Sopranos?
Did the what break down better?
The royalties. Do you get more cash when you write the thing?
You get something. Yeah, they have to pay you for that. That's all in your contract and stuff. Yeah.
And on the episode where you
should be
on the episode,
it should be. He's going to check now.
Where Tony killed you. Do you write that, or did they hire a hitman to take you out?
I didn't write that. No, I knew about that for a long time, like for at least a year. That David told me how that was going to happen, but I was glad I didn't have to write that. I think it might have been a little bit too strange.
Is it difficult to act your own death, and is it in some ways like quitting a job? Like, is it bittersweet?
What was bittersweet was that it was the last season, and we all knew the whole thing was going to be ending. I think I would have been a lot more disappointed if I was killed off in the second season. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
So would we.
this is the last season, so you know, in essence, everybody was done. So, but I've died so many times in movies. I mean, I don't know how many, a lot. So it's become second nature to me.
So do you feel like a video game character where you have all these extra lives and in real life, by the way, like I'm reading a little bit about you, and of course I can't trust Wikipedia, but it says you're kind of Buddhist a little bit, Tibetan Buddhist. Is that right?
No,
Or student?
I'm a Buddhist. Yeah,
You
Not
are a
little
Buddhist.
bit, but
Okay, and I don't know a lot about this, but I know it's all about Zen and acceptance and like really calm. Totally the opposite of the kind of tortured characters that you play. How does your personal life, how do you in your personal life where do you get the emotions to play these characters if in your personal life you're so calm and accepting?
Well, I had to work on being calm and accepting. It didn't. I don't think it came naturally to me. But first of all, but you know, acting. I think there's a certain kind of therapeutic thing, at least for me, through acting. So you can access and express very dark parts of the psyche through acting that you don't necessarily want to express in your own real life.
Mm.
So in that sense, it's something that I think is very positive that way.
So which acting helped exercise your own personal demons the most? Was it cutting a guy up on a bandsaw in the back of a pork shop? Squishing a dog while you passed out high?
Yeah, because if I
don't
do
talk
it,
about that.
if I do it on camera, I won't do it in life. You know what I mean?
Attaboy.
Like,
Attaboy.
That's it.
It's a good thing.
That was really deep what you just said. You don't get like a degree from Buddha saying, congratulations, you graduate.
here.
Just sit around and meditate all day.
Yeah.
You, we all have to work at it, don't we?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You have to work at it. And it's, yeah, Buddhism is a great way to deal with those things. I have to say, meditation and those things, there's definitely a lot of positive results that can come out of that if you're so inclined.
I imagine writing's got to be having the same effect for you. How do you write? Does something just come at you and you got to get it down, or do you dedicate yourself to hard times to make yourself write?
You got to dedicate the time. You have to set aside the time and just put your butt in the chair, pretty regularly. Otherwise, for me at least, it doesn't happen. And sometimes even when you're sitting down, it doesn't happen. But you have to kind of be very disciplined, or at least I do.
Michael Imperioli, I also read that you play music, perhaps to relax too. That you're a lead singer and a guitarist, and I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Pedro
Not
usually,
to relax. It's not relaxing.
It's heavy music.
Not to relax.
It's relaxing, like acting out all those roles on The Sopranos. Is it online anywhere? Can we find the band Zopa?
It probably will be. I mean, the band that I play with, we've been together for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't really put out a record. We have a record, but it's going to be put out probably within the next 6 months or so. But I played music in my early 20s. Like, there was a point where I was either going to go, not sure which direction, acting and music, but then acting kind of started to happen, so I followed that up, but I never really quite gave music up, and started to, as time went by, started to carve out more time for it, because I missed it a lot.
All right. Michael, we'll look for you. The season finale of Californication is this Sunday.
Series finale.
Yep, it's not a series finale.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot!
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's it. Done.
Oh,
I know.
Every year I know. Oh, wow. Okay.
There's a scene where somebody pinches your nose during sex and somebody dies, but I'm not going to say anything.
Don't say. You are not.
I'm kidding.
No spoilers, please. The series finale of Californication, Sunday, 9:30. Everybody watch it together on Showtime. Very nice talking to you, Michael. All the best.
Same here. Thanks for having me.
Night.